This particular title or observation, an eye for an eye, when the right to defend becomes oppressive, is something that we need to consider. Because on the one hand, when you've got Netanyahu quoting from the Bible the story of Amalek with regards to destroying these people and the inference that this is the Palestinians, on the one hand, this indicates a referencing or an adherence to the faith, their faith. But also within that same book, the Torah, and within the book that we Muslims adhere to, the Quran, there is that statement, an eye for an eye, with regards to retribution, with regards to exacting retribution equal or proportionate to what has been done to those oppressed. But we don't see reference to that here, because that right to defend itself has morphed into the right to annihilate because of what has been done to them. And according to the tenets of their faith, this eye for an eye has just been discarded. But there shouldn't be too much surprise. In all faiths, there's a selectivity in referencing the faith, the religion, when it suits us. It happens in Islam, it happens in many faiths and no faiths. That selectivity, that subjectivity is there. But moving from being the aggrieved as a result of that incident or those incidents on the 7th of October to becoming oppressive, there's no precedent for that. There's no precedent for that. In the 21st century, in international law, according to religion, there's no precedent. In fact, in Islam, we have in the 5th chapter, the Surah Al-Ma'idah, 5th chapter, where we are instructed to not let the hatred of a people, whoever they may be, lead us to oppression. Be just. Show justice. So any Muslim that transgresses these dictates, these injunctions, is wrong. And the Muslim world and the religion will not stand in support of such individuals. But what we're seeing here is really, really uncanny, in that the faith has been discarded by the Zionist strategists, but there's support coming from those outside of their political sphere in the West and in some other countries in the East even. There's support to transgress their own religious dictates. But you will never see that with regards to the Muslim faith, where you have those from outside saying, yes, discard your religion, destroy, oppress, bloodlet, to satiate yourself, to satiate that hatred and resentment you have in your heart. So what we are seeing, let's be clear in conclusion, is oppression. But this oppression has been in existence before 7th of October. This oppression has been in existence for 75 years plus. And again, let's reiterate what some of them are, apart from the genocidal actions we're seeing now. Ethnic cleansing and apartheid, both forms of subjugation, both illegal at every level, from macro to micro, to national to international legislation. However, we're seeing policymakers and legislators sitting on their hands and supporting those who are oppressive. And I will conclude again with a mandate, a standard that we have in Islam, where we are told to help the individual, whether he's the oppressor or the oppressed. And the question was asked to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how do you help the oppressor? And his response was to stop them from that oppression, even to the extent of fighting them if they are oppressive. And that's your co-religionists we're speaking about. And maybe that's a standard that needs to be globally understood. And if it is, and it's taken up, as we're seeing by the pro-Palestinian marches and those who were saying enough is enough, perhaps those who continue to oppress, if they don't feel a sense of shame, remorse, where they've said never again, that never again is not restricted to what they endured, and they're right to have that stance, but to extend that phrase, that phraseology, that statement to others globally, no matter who or where they are, that never again extends to everyone as it relates to some of the oppression that we've seen others, including Israelis, endure in times gone by.